So today I'll talk about why I decided not to drive the M3 this winter, at least for this year. First, I'll talk about the reasons why I want to drive this car in the winter, and then I'll talk about why I ultimately decided not to drive the car in the winter. So the first reason why I want to keep driving this car in the winter is that it's not the newest car anymore. So the E92 M3 came out from 2008 to 2013, meaning it's anywhere between 5 to 10 years old now. So now it's not the newest car anymore. So storing a car that's 5-10 years old, I mean, people drive cars that are a year old, or they drive new cars on the road in the winter. So I mean, it doesn't make sense to keep or save the car. Idea was to keep driving it year round. This is a good car for everyday driving as well as the track, so no reason not to drive it. The second reason that makes me want to drive this car in the winter is that if I could have bought a summer only car, there are many other choices that I could have bought, like the first being the C6 Corvette 06 or the Mustang GT, which is in the same price range as the E92 M3. So getting these cars would have been also a good choice. So if I wasn't gonna drive it in the winter anyways, I could have bought one of those cars and it would have been a good choice as well. So the third and the last reason why I want to drive this car in the winter is that I really like driving this car on the street. And I mean, the biggest reason why I like driving this car on the street is the sound. And also, it's not too bad. It's an automatic. Mine's an automatic, which has a DCT and electronic dampening control. So I just set that to the comfort mode, and it's a comfortable car to drive on the street as well. So I don't see any reason why I can't drive it. I love the car, but because of the reasons that I'm just gonna talk about now, it's not a very good choice. So now I'll talk about the 3 reasons why I decided not to drive this car in the winter. And the first reason is that I live in Canada. So this means that it could snow from anywhere between September to May. Obviously, it's not gonna snow every day in September. It's not gonna snow every day in May, but it's possible to have snow on the ground during those times, and which means if I wanted to drive this car more than 6 months of the year, I do need to invest in winter wheels, winter tires, which can be expensive. And another thing is that we do get minus 30-degree weather for maybe about 2 to 3 weeks of the year. So that is about that Fahrenheit, which is very cold. So cold temperature, it's harsh on the engine, harsh on the car's body. It's not good. That leads to my second reason, which is that it's still a new car to me. So I bought this car this July, so about 2-3 months ago. So it's still precious to me. I still love this car. So I want to keep it away from the elements as much as possible. Keep it away from the snow, the salt, and the mud, if I can afford to do so. As the previous owner didn't winter drive this one season. He bought it originally in 2011, and it's always been his summer car rather than his everyday driver. So the body's really kept clean. He kept the body really clean, and I want to keep it that way for as long as possible. So the third and the last reason why I decided ultimately to keep the M3 in the garage for the winter is that I have the perfect winter car. the 2010 Subaru Impreza. Let me explain why this is the best winter car that you can buy. First of all, it's all-wheel drive compared to the M3, which is rear-wheel drive. And all-wheel drive is the best weapon against the snow, as most of us know it. I bought this car as a ice racing car, so this can serve as that double purpose car that can serve as a winter motorsports car and also my winter daily driver. And another thing why this car is so great is that it gets good gas mileage. It gets about 10 to 12 kilometers per liter, which is about that miles per gallon. And the M3 gets about 7 to 8 kilometers per liter, which is also about that miles per gallon. And obviously you don't get the M3 to save money on gas or to think about the gas mileage in the car, but still, money doesn't grow on trees, and every little bit that you save counts towards something like you can buy another track day or maybe one tire or something like that, and it's not nothing, right? So, and also the Subaru Impreza takes regular gas, whereas the M3 needs premium. Again, there's a little bit of gap there. And another thing that this Impreza has against the M3 is that it can take 15-inch tires. So unlike the bigger brothers, the WRX and the STI, the Impreza can take 15-inch wheels. That means tires and wheels are really cheap. So I got 15-inch wheels, brand new 15-inch wheels, and brand new WS80s, and it cost me less than $1,000 Canadian. So that's a lot cheaper than getting a similar setup in the M3, which will probably be about $2,000 to $3,000. I mean, $2,000 to $3,000. That's almost half of the price of this car, and $2,000 to $3,000 gets you a pretty good winter beater on its own. So to save the M3, save that $2,000 to $3,000, and drive this car, which only costed me $1,000 for that same setup, it's a much better but much sensible choice. And also, look at all this room that we have in the back. There's so much room. So the E92 M3 is a capable daily driver that can be driven in any condition, and that is easily a winter drivable car that's gonna make sounds like this. But right now I do have the best winter car in the world, which is the Subaru Impreza Subaru M3. so the Subaru Impreza is the best winter car that you can drive right now because it's cheap. It can take 15-inch tires. It's all-wheel drive. It gets good fuel mileage. So it's just the perfect winter car to drive. So while I have this perfect winter car to drive, driving the M3 is kind of not the wisest choice that you can make. Obviously, I'm gonna miss the car. We'll see how much I miss the car over the period of 6 months or 7 months, and see how much I miss that sound. And maybe I'll drive it next year. But right now, at this point, I feel like keeping the M3 in the winter, keeping it stored away, would be the best choice in this scenario, and just drive the Subaru. Subaru is a great car. It's a fun car to drive too, so it's not a bad choice.